Good evening, guys. This is Susan with Pack Leader Dog Training, and I'm here with Rachel Kohler Dog Training for our weekly Tuesday Q&A.
Yay!
So we are looking forward to all of the things. So ask us any of your dog questions, veterinary questions. I'll do my best to answer. Or if there's just something you want to know about us, feel free to give us a shout out. We are going to just talk about topics as we wait for your questions to roll in. But yeah, if you have anything to say, let us know.
Yeah. I feel like I'm going to just say it because I say it every time. But Q&A 24. I always just like to acknowledge like the number. I don't know. It's like, go us.
It's crazy. Yeah, 24. Because on my YouTube, I don't have, Rachel has all of the Q&As. So if you want to watch all of our Q&As, go to Rachel's YouTube. I only have the beginning ones. And I should go back and watch it, like watch one of the first ones, because we're probably so awkward.
Oh my gosh. Let's not pretend like we're not awkward though now. So let's be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
Improvement.
And
we do. Next time we hang out, instead of watching other YouTubers, we will watch ourselves. Watch our first one.
Yeah. Take notes. Be like, oh god. Oh, we could do like the trainers react, but to
ourselves. Oh my gosh.
So what have you been up to today?
Let's see. I had some training dogs today. So I had Mr. Tank. He's doing my puppy program, so I had him this morning, which was a lot of fun. Then I had another puppy. I had Samantha, the cute little Dalmatian I'm working with.
Yes, for puppy program too, or training?
She's also doing puppy program with me. After Miss Samantha, I had Creature and Otis for our one-on-one sessions. So I'm meeting with them every other week because they're so young and she's got 2 dogs to work with. We're waiting 2 weeks before we meet. So she's got plenty of time to get in those reps with them.
Nice.
She's doing a great job with them. You know, it takes a special person to do. Hey, Paula.
Hey, Paula.
It takes a special person to do one-on-ones because you have to put in a lot of work with the dog and put in all the reps. And she's doing that with not 1 dog, but with 2. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then I finished up my day with Miss Piper, who is also doing puppy program. So it was the day of puppies today.
So what is your puppy program versus the training, the hands-off training?
So my puppy program is for puppies. So it's for puppies ages 8 to 22 weeks. And we focus on all things puppy. So we do a lot of desensitization and to different things. So the main thing with puppies is like getting them used to having their feet touched and their ears touched and getting them comfortable with all of that to prep them for like future vet visits and groomings. 2 of the other big things that I work on with puppies is going up and down stairs. A lot of puppies really struggle with that one. So we work on going up and down stairs.
Nice.
Wagging tails dog. Hey.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
So we'll work on that. And then what was the other thing? Oh yeah, walking on leash. So a lot of puppies just aren't even comfortable walking with the leash attached to them. So we'll do that. And then pretty much anything that a specific puppy is having trouble with. So whether it be, you know, puppy biting, we're going to address that. Or is it my dog is scared to walk in this hallway? Whatever it is, we're going to focus on it, the specifics for that dog.
Nice.
So Wagging Tails dog training says that my dog was scared of stairs at first. A lot of them are. And when you think about it, like for a dog, like to look at stairs head on, it like kind of just looks like a brick wall. It just looks like a wall.
Like I think going downstairs, like have you ever pictured being a dog on all fours, like, and they're going down the stairs? Like it would be terrifying. But Wagging Tails, you said that your dog was scared of stairs at first, so it means that they're not scared now. So awesome, because you probably worked them through it.
Right. I was thinking that too. Yeah, they would and I'm scared of heights. So like to be a dog and not like comprehend that you just like take steps down it. Yeah, that is pretty scary.
Yeah.
Because heights are not my friend. What about you, Susan? You asked me what did I do today? What did you do today?
I asked you because Miss Allie, I had a boarding training. She went home Sunday and Monday. So I'm taking today, Wednesday, and Thursday to myself. a good dear friend of mine has told me to not schedule any dog training things at all. So I did take that advice, and I have not scheduled anything. So what did I do today? I woke up late.
This doesn't count.
With Allie, I would wake up at like 7. So today I woke up at 9:30. Took my dogs for a walk with my husband. I went to Starbucks, got something to eat, and then I just went shopping. So,
Sounds like a good day.
Yeah. And then I get my
Right.
next board and train on Friday. So.
Which I'm super excited for. I'm excited for all of yours because like we like share all of the things with our dogs. And this particular pup, I'm excited to hear about all of the things that she does while she's with you.
Yeah, I'll be curious.
Yeah. That'll be cool.
Are you ready for your first question?
Yes, and Wagging Tail's dog training says that was a fun day, and I think it was too. It's a nice chill day.
It's a nice chill day. Oh, I did forget. I laid in bed and played on my Switch too. So, in case you were wondering, I did that.
Don't make me jealous. I need to play my Switch.
Okay, Rachel.
Yes.
Is a dog ever considered too old to train?
So, if your dog is mentally and physically capable, they can be trained. And what I mean is like mentally, like, I mean, if your dog's just like walking in circles all day long because they're like old and have dementia or something, maybe let them be. Maybe they could be trained. But that would be the one that I'm like kind of borderline on it. But then as long as they're physically able to, like I'm not going to ask a dog to go for a heel with me if they struggle to walk, you know? But maybe like if that dog could learn place. So as the dog gets older, if like health stuff gets in the way, that could be an issue. But the expression, an old dog can't learn new tricks is not true. What do you think, Susan?
Yeah, same thing as you said. Took, the one dog that I had right before Allie, was the oldest dog that I've trained. Now, he did take longer to train. So dogs think in pictures. And so he just had a lot of old pictures that I had to overwrite. So his old pictures were, if I hear a sound, I'm going to bark. And unfortunately, that was any sound. So it took a lot of time and work to overwrite all of those circumstances. So he would be like, well, if I hear this, can I bark? No. If I hear this, can I bark? No. So it just took longer to overwrite all of his pictures. But he was 13. He is 13. And he was still able to be trained. So don't let anybody tell you that your dog's too old to be trained. If your trainer's telling you that, look for a new trainer. I just met with somebody for a consult, and he's 3, and she asked me, is he too old to be trained or something like that?
And he was so young.
Yeah, I said no, because he's pretty young.
Right.
I think people feel like once the dog's past puppyhood, maybe they can't train it or it's too late, but that's not the case.
I'm going to interrupt you for a second just to say bye to Wagging Tail's dog training. Thanks for popping in, and we hope to see you next week as well.
Yes.
But yeah, that's a big thing. Like, your dog can be trained after puppyhood. So, like, of course, like, if you start your dog early, that's cool because you're just telling them from the beginning, this is how it is. You can definitely, like, be like, no, you can still train. And how old, I know, but I forget. How old was Duke again?
13.
13, yeah. That's insane. So awesome.
It's awesome. Yeah. It's good.
So cool, Mr. Duke. So I have a question for you.
Okay.
Miss Susan. What are your thoughts on submissive peeing?
You have got to be crapping me right now because that is one of mine as well. Okay. So, submissive urination. My first thought is that's annoying, actually. That was my first thought. So the problem with, most people, if they have a submissive dog, what happens is people come in, or it's just you, and the dog's there, and you go to pet it, and they roll on their back and they pee. Or they just squat and pee.
Like crumple down.
So they're so either adrenalized, anxious, or nervous that they just can't control their bowels, that they'll pee. The best way to solve that is actually to ignore the dog and teach them just basic existence commands. A lot of times it's dogs that don't have a lot of self-confidence. So they're just like that nervous little wallflower dog. Little. Thankfully, she doesn't do that. But yeah,
Right.
so if you have a submissive urinator, usually it's when people give the dog attention or affection. So I would just pull back from the affection and give that dog more guidance and structure, and then do confidence building things. So what is confidence building? Just finding what your dog is nervous about and getting them over that. So if they're nervous around the vacuum, then I'm going to have that dog place, and I'm going to slowly expose it to the vacuum far away, and then work up to closer, far away turned on, and then worked up to closer turned on. So that kind of thing. What are your thoughts?
Exactly what you said. So a lot of the time, simply just ignoring the dog and not giving them that like excited attention or any attention at all, a lot of times that works. But then to take it a step further, I would do exactly what you said. Even just basic obedience training is going to help the dog feel more confident in different aspects of their life. And obviously, any specific confidence building exercises you do is going to be great. One thing I had somebody ask me about that, and I'm like, so bare minimum, ignore the dog when you come in the house, like wait for them to be like chill. And then the other one would just be place. So on top of ignoring the dog when people come over, if it's like a when guests come over situation, on top of ignoring the guests, you're going to go and lay on your place cot until you don't care that the person's here. And then you can get off and go about your business if you'd like.
Perfect.
But I agree.
It just helps with that initial arousal, whether it be anxiety or adrenaline / excitement. It kind of helps like to drop them down. Whereas when you give them affection, it increases that meter, and then they just like pee.
Right.
Okay. Rachel, is it okay if my beagle doesn't really care about my boyfriend? He loves to cuddle and play with me, but with my boyfriend, he just doesn't seem to have an interest in him.
Yeah, I mean, is it okay? Yeah, I think what would not be okay is if your beagle was being ugly to your boyfriend. But I mean, yeah, I mean, if your boyfriend is feeling some type of way about it and wants to improve his relationship with the dog, you could maybe have him start doing training with the dog and interact with the dog in that sort of way. But if he's fine with it and your beagle's obviously fine with it, I would be okay with it and just think, okay, well, maybe they're not best friends. I'm not best friends with everybody.
Right.
But I'm not like being ugly to people. So as long as he's like just uninterested, I'm okay with that. What do you think? That's an interesting one.
It's just, so you've probably been the one that's played with the dog and spent more time with the dog. That your boyfriend probably just hasn't. So like my husband, my dogs don't ever try to play with him. Ever. Why? Because he doesn't play. And so they've learned if we come over to this guy with our ball, he's not going to throw it. Ever. Like ever. And so with me, with mom, I'll be sitting here eating, and Sadie comes over and plops her ball on my lap. Why? Because sometimes I play with her. Sometimes I don't, but sometimes I do. And so she's like, I'm willing to take that risk. And like, I'll be in the bathroom getting ready for a shower, and Sadie comes by and plops her ball, because I leave the door like cracked, because why not? She drops her ball and plops it, and it rolls into the bathroom. Because I'll play ball with her before I take a shower. But like she would never do that with Joe, ever. So it's just like, how relevant are you? And like the dog learns patterns. So if you don't play or cuddle with the dog, they won't ever try to do it.
Right. Makes sense. It's actually funny. It brings up a good point. Like with Gaia, my dad likes dogs. He just doesn't really not overly excited about them. So he doesn't really have much interaction with Gaia at all. So this morning I am downstairs and we peek our head into his office while Gaia is just excited to smell everything. And like my dad's like, hey Gaia, like trying to like pet her and everything. And Gaia's like, you've never given me attention before. I'd just rather like smell around. So it is funny, like they do know like, I'm not gonna get anything from you probably, so I'm just gonna like go about my business.
Right. They do know. It's crazy.
Dogs are smart.
Love them. What's your favorite breed?
All of them. My favorite breed list is just growing by the day. I don't. So I used to have a go-to answer, and I honestly don't know if I have a favorite breed anymore.
Really?
So my go-to answer used to be Newfies. I love Newfoundlands. I think they're huge and fluffy, and I just love it. Will I own a Newfoundland anytime soon? No, because I want to go to like grooming school first, and so I can groom my own dogs, and that won't be for a while. So I'm like, well, if I'm not going to own one of them, then what would my other favorite dog breed be? Which was Belgian Malinois for a while, but I also know that I won't be owning one of those for a very long time. So I don't know, Susan. I don't have an answer to that question anymore. I just love them all. Because now every time I work with a dog, I'm like, gonna write down that breed, and I'm gonna write down that breed. I'm gonna erase this one real quick. No, stop.
Okay, what's your least favorite breed?
That's such a mean question. I guess least favorite. Two came to mind actually. That's so bad. I'm gonna have a least favorite and not a favorite. So probably get some hate for this one, but Doodles, breed, hybrid. I don't love Doodles because they became so trendy. And because they became so trendy, everybody and their uncle wanted a Doodle. And not everybody and their uncle was down to train and properly groom the Doodle. So then we got a lot of like really crazy, severely matted Doodles when I was working at the daycare. So it's like pretty much every Doodle that came in was crazy and was really stinky and matted. And it was just sad. So I guess it's not like the dog, but it's like, brush your dogs, please.
Right.
But what about you? Your favorite and least favorite?
Favorite? I would like to say Belgian Malinois. But that's a conversation for a different day. And German Shepherd. So I do love my Shepherds. Honestly, I'm with you as far as now that I'm having my own company. It's weird to say.
Right.
But now that I'm like training dogs, I really don't care what breed it is. I guess my least favorite right now would have been a Mastiff because of their slobber is everywhere. And you'd give him like a piece of food and then he's slobbering everywhere.
Your whole hand.
So like I carry around this rag, so like I feed him and then wipe his face. And this is all done in my home, so it's not like just a training facility where it's like who cares if they're slobber. I try to keep a nice home, so it's like constantly wiping areas. And then the dog beds were a mess.
So you wouldn't love it if I got a Newfie and brought him to your house?
No, I would not love that.
Because they're slobber and fur.
Unless you had a dry mouth Newfie, right? Okay, so anyway.
Can't. And can I get one that doesn't shed as well?
I don't mind the hair.
Okay.
I don't mind. I'll vacuum. You know I vacuum like twice a day.
4 times a day?
At least the living room. I was going to say something. Oh, but when I was at the vet hospital, I loved when German Shepherds would come in. Loved it. Why? I don't know if it's because everybody else hated them. Like if on the schedule, if it was like German Shepherd, they'd be like, Susan, you can take it. I'm like, okay. Because honestly, like 80% of the time, they were probably aggressive or anxious or whiny, especially for us. So like you're trying to hold them and they're like biting you or whatever. But it was so great because they didn't do that to me. Or if they did, it was like, good luck getting to me because I'm going to hold you in such a way that you can't get to me. So
right.
It was fun. But yeah, now that I'm training dogs, I don't have a favorite breed. I've had favorite dogs, but we're not going to have that discussion.
Supposed to say that, Susan.
They fit into my lifestyle. All dogs are awesome, but certain ones just fit in well. Like certain dogs. Yeah.
Yeah, they just vibe with you.
I like to take my dogs hiking and be able to be off leash and have them enjoy that. So if I have a dog that doesn't really enjoy that, he just doesn't fit in as well. He's still a great dog, but like some dogs fit in so much better.
Right. That brings up a thought, talking about not having a favorite dog breed, but having a favorite dog is just how, like, yes, breed plays a role, genetics play a role, blah, right? But like, each dog is their own individual person. They're their own individual like being, right? So they're all going to have their own personality and their own things that they do really well and things that they need some more help with, which is really fun. Like I'm working with 2 different puppies right now, Tank and Piper, and it is amazing. Now, yes, they're different breeds, but it is amazing just seeing the differences. And these 2 puppies who are like pretty close in age, they're about a month apart, but still they're like
Piper's older?
complete. Yeah, I think Piper's about 15 weeks and I think Tank's about 11.
Okay.
Don't quote me on any of that. But to see just the difference in their personality is absolutely insane. Like Piper would work all day if she could, and Tank wants to eat everything. He doesn't really want to have to work for it, but he wants to eat everything. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and like you said, they're different breeds. Yeah, but you can have so many different personalities within the breed.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we use Malinois and how we say most people shouldn't own a Malinois because they're crazy.
Right.
But we've met Malinois. You met that one with me,
Mm-hmm.
right? That they're just like very chill.
Right.
And so you have a lot of variations within the breed. Yeah, you can stereotype them mostly because they're bred to do a certain thing, so their mindset and stuff is bred like for a certain thing. But you'll still have ones that aren't going to fit the mold.
Right. I'm really excited too. So most of my dogs, it's funny, I'm actually having more like purebred or more actual breeds recently. Before I'd get like more like, I don't know, some sort of like mixy type dog,
Yeah.
which is cool. I love them all. But it'll be really interesting for me, like right now, to have another dog down the line that's the same breed. So, I've got a bulldog, a Dalmatian, and a Brittany right now. So it's going to be really cool, like to get another bulldog or another Dalmatian or another Brittany and like compare those and be like, wow, you're so much like this Dalmatian is so much like Samantha, or wow, you're like the complete opposite. So that I'm kind of looking forward to.
And like those aren't 3 common breeds.
I know, which is really weird that I have them.
Because I was like, yeah, you do have like some nice breeds right now.
I was thinking that the other day because it's usually, again, love all my dogs, but it's usually like, some sort of like, I don't know what they are. They look, I don't know, they're cute.
Right.
I was thinking that. Let's see. Emily says,
hey.
Hi, ladies. Hi, Emily.
Hey, Emily.
And I don't know you. No, I'm just kidding.
Similar last names, probably pronounced differently though.
No, probably so. Yeah, probably like the Keeler method. Whole different thing. Is that pronounced Keeler or Kohler? That's my sister. Just so we're clear, if that wasn't obvious with my reaction.
All right, you ready for your next question?
Hit me.
I have a 2-year-old Saint Bernard who hates getting a bath. If I call him into the bathroom, he runs away. Once I get him in the tub, he tries to get out, cries, and flails. I've tried giving him treats, but he doesn't care.
Cool. And you said, what was this, a Saint Bernard?
Yeah.
So I want you to hop on his back and ride him into the bathroom like a horse. Okay. So Miss Gaia over here, not a fan of baths either. She's a little bit smaller than the Saint Bernard, but she doesn't like the baths either. So, first time I brought her into the bathroom, she'd never been in there. Did I have any associations with that room? Then it was bath time, right? Then a couple weeks later, I called her into the bathroom to do something, I don't remember, and she would not go near the bathroom. So my first step with her is let's make the bathroom not a place that sucks. That was just my first thing. So honestly, I would take her outside to go to the bathroom, and when we would come upstairs, we passed the bathroom on my way back up. So I'd be like, oh, I'll go to the bathroom too. I'll go into the bathroom and take her in with me. I know I'm a weirdo, don't come at me. And she would just exist in there. So it's like every time you come in this room, something scary is not going to happen. So let's stop that nonsense of acting like we're scared of this door, right? Mm-hmm. So I would just bring her in the bathroom with me occasionally, and she would just kind of be like, okay, this isn't so bad. And with her specifically, then she started to explore the bathtub, and it was really cute because then the next time I bathed her, she jumped in by herself. She still hated the bath, don't get me wrong. So I know I'm going off on a side note here. So first I would make the bathroom not a sucky place just because that's the approach I would want to go. And then after that, Have your dog on a leash because we're not going to play the running away game. So they're in the bathroom, close the door, have a leash on them. Get the dog into the tub, whether that be you're using pressure on, pressure off, or you manhandle this giant horse and get them into the tub. Either way, I don't really know. Like pressure on, pressure off will work if you can. Back tie your dog to the tub because I don't want you to successfully be able to jump out. You're back tied and you're in here. And then did it say what he does in the tub?
He cries, flails, and tries to get out.
So the crying, honestly, right now I'm gonna like ignore. I don't know, like cry, I guess, but we're getting a bath. Any like ridiculous flailing, you can use leash pressure to like kind of hold him stationary, and then he's not gonna get out because he's back tied. I don't know. What do you think? It's not really great, but it's just kind of like we're gonna do it, and I'm gonna take these precautions. Now you can, if you want, I guess, go like really slow and do like counter conditioning in the bathtub with no water and all that good stuff. So I guess I could go on that route. But I just
it depends. Like if your dog had rolled around in poop and they're at my house, they're gonna get a bath, right? So if you're flailing, let's just do this. But if you just want to like get your dog used to the tub, kind of do what Rachel suggested. I would have a leash on the dog, so it's like, hey, we're gonna go in the bathroom, and like this is where you're gonna eat your dinner now. So like you're gonna come in here, eat your dinner, and then we're done. And you're gonna come in here and eat your breakfast, and then you're done. And then counter condition the tub, and you don't have to take forever. So don't feel like, ugh, you have to take like 2 months to get your dog used to, all of that. You can for sure, but I'm gonna use probably pressure on, pressure off to get you in the tub. And now that you're in there, depends on the dog. If he's that anxious, he won't eat. But if he takes food from you, then A, he's not that anxious, and B, we can work with that. So I'm just gonna like get you in the tub, and now that you're in there, here's some food. Break. Get you in the tub. Now that you're in there, here's some food. Break. And like do that over and over again. And so now he's like, well, let me jump in this tub because that's where I eat. And you could actually use their meal. So that's the only way this guy eats, if he gets in his tub. And at first he might not eat, but it's like, okay, well, you're not eating unless you're in the tub. But like, let's say we just had to get it done. Then I'm going to use pressure on, pressure off, get you in the tub, back tie you. If you cry, like Rachel said, I'm going to let that go for now. But if you're flailing around, I might leash pop you. Depends on the dog. Like if they just flail and just like act like a fool, you're on a back tie. So I'm just going to wait.
What are you going to do?
I'm probably just going to stand there while you flip out. And then you'll stop and be like, okay. And I'm like, okay, we can proceed now. And then I'm going to try to bathe you. And then if you freak out again, I'm just going to step back and then wait you out. And then when you're calm, I'm going to bathe you. Or you could bonk them. So if you're freaking out, no, bonk, and then move on with our life. So either way, depends on you. But if you have the time, I would try to counter condition at least a little bit.
No, that's great because like my first thought, I was having like flashbacks to when I would work in a kennel and a dog comes in and you're scheduled for a bath today, so you're getting a bath today. So that's where my brain was like, and then I'm like, oh wait, I forgot about counter conditioning. Yeah. So I really liked what you said, and like honestly, like just eating your meals in there, like if the dog's like that bad, like why not? Like you're in your house, you gotta feed your dog, so let's go to the bathroom.
Yeah, and it depends what you're looking at, right? So if this person had said like, hey, I don't mind taking the time, how would I do this? Then I could walk you through that. Or hey, I don't want to take the time, my dog needs a bath. I can walk you through that.
Right. Smart.
Okay. Oh, okay. I had another submissive urination one. Okay.
Oh, okay.
It was my 20-week-old Boston pees sometimes when I'm petting her. Is this something she will grow out of?
So something she will grow out of? No. No. So 20 weeks old is still pretty young. Right? That's like 5 months, I think. Right? Yeah. 5 months. I have to double check. So is that something she's gonna grow out of? I wouldn't hold your breath on it. I mean, she might, but I never want to hold my breath and hope a dog's gonna grow out of something, because all that's doing is allowing them to have more successful reps over and over and over of doing this thing, and then we're hoping one day it just stops. So usually don't ever wait for that. Was it you who said a really good one? It was like the only thing a dog's gonna grow out of is their collar. Is that what you said? That was the
Yes.
best thing I ever heard. Thank you for that.
Actually, that's a really good post idea, actually.
The only thing they're gonna grow out of is their collar. Ooh, and a picture of a cute little puppy. Okay,
I'm
cool.
gonna write that
Maybe.
down.
Okay, maybe I'm gonna steal that as well. Thank you.
Okay.
Stealing Susan's great ideas. Okay, stop. Let me pay attention. So no, what I would do is one, making sure your puppy's still pretty young, is on a really solid potty schedule, and that we're going outside and emptying our bladders all the way. And then think about your petting. So is it like, oh my gosh, you're so cute type of pets? Because we're gonna want to tone that down by a lot. But if you're just like calmly petting them and they're still like submissive peeing, this is gonna sound harsh here, but maybe we're just not gonna pet your puppy right now. Because for your puppy to feel like so overwhelmed by pets that they feel the need to pee, pets maybe aren't really that fun for them, and they're more for you. So I would stop petting. I know I'm a monster, and start obedience training and start confidence building, and helping this pup out now while she or he is still pretty young, and can just set them up for the rest of their life to be able to enjoy pets and not feel like pets are just this whole thing where I'm just submit and pee, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. And she did say that the dog does it sometimes when she's petting her. So
Nice.
not every time. So just pay attention to your dog, right? The times when your dog does pee when you're petting her, is the dog like crazy, like acting all crazy and like hyped up?
Right.
So just don't pet it when it's excitable. And then when your dog's nice and calm, you can pet it.
Right.
But what Rachel said is great, like confidence building, all that happy fun stuff, and like taking away some of that affection.
Can that be a post? What Rachel said is great. Okay. Anyways, I'll just take that silence as a no. I have a question for you, Susan.
Oh, okay, cool.
I liked the shocked sound in your voice because I never come prepared.
Well, you said you had one question, so this is two. So
I just came up with this one. Actually, I didn't. I talked to somebody earlier and they asked. This dog, 3-year-old lab, likes to dig in the trash, and of course gets sick from it because he's eating. He's not just digging. Is that something that can be fixed with training? And it's not inside trash that he gets into. It's when he's out in the yard that he's digging into the trash.
yes, is that something training can fix? Yes, it sure is. Couple options depending on what you want to do. So you asked, is training could it fix it? Yes. So you could just take the trash and put it where the dog can't get to it, but that's not training.
Yeah.
You could also teach the dog no. And because I was going to say out, but out I use for things that like I don't want the dog to do now, but they can probably do it later. I would probably just say no. So I'm going to teach that dog that that trash can is kind of hot. So when you go over to the trash can, you go to like put your paw on it or something stupid, I'm going to say no and correct you, a higher level of correction. Now, if it's enough to get the dog to leave the trash can alone for like the day and the dog goes back, I'm going to make that trash can suck a little more. So next time you even go over to that trash can, I'm going to say no and correct you even higher. I don't like just having that be the answer, is like I'm going to correct you, because I do, like, we're dog trainers. So I'm going to say, like, train your dog up in all areas, not just punishing it for getting to the trash can. But if that's all that you want to do, is it going to work? Sure will. It sure will.
Right.
But you're going to have to make that trash can suck enough that even when you're not out there, I'm assuming if you let your dog out there by yourself, because that's how it would get in the trash can, because otherwise you'd see it, you would need to make it suck so much that even when you're not out there, it's not even going to think about that trash can.
Right.
I was thinking personal choice. Like, I don't let my dogs outside without me. I even feel weird if like one of them poops and I have to come inside real quick and get a bag and I'm literally gone for like 8 seconds. I'm like, you guys okay?
I'm right here. I'll be right back.
Because my yard isn't fenced. So like, yeah, my dogs aren't going to get out of it, but who's going to get in my yard?
Right.
I just don't let my dogs unattended outside. So I would suggest you didn't as well, at least in the beginning, when you're teaching your dog, not to do that, not to get in the trash. What were your answers?
What you just said, of course.
Okay.
Like, do we ever answer anything differently? No. So yeah, first we can just correct, right? Because you're not going to do that. I never want you to do that. So like you said, without, like, I'm going to out Gaia off her jolly ball, but you bet your bottom, I'm going to say break and you can go right back to it. But I'm not going to out her off the trash can because you have no reason ever to like mess with the trash can.
Right.
But that being said, in this particular situation, there are roommates involved and they leave trash out.
Oh.
And it's a whole thing. And I'm like, well, I can't help with the people part of it because people don't want to listen. I can train a dog, but people don't listen. I was like, I can give you advice for the people. You can like tell the people that their trash is going to kill your dog. But it was made clear that they're not going to care about that. So, monitoring your dog because you don't know like what type of trash, where it's going to be left in the yard. Monitoring the dog, just like you said, because how we can't guarantee anything if we're not out there to hold your dog accountable, and they could get a hold of something that's going to make them really sick, which is a shame. And then my other thing was, just training, obedience training. So lots of I'm super relevant. All good things come from me. So I have this like foundation protocol that I do after my 90-day protocol, and that says, all good things come from me. So you have to sit before we go outside and sit before we eat, and you do all this structure throughout the day that your dog learns things come from you. So that's going to help them think twice before picking something random up off the ground without permission. Is it guaranteed? No. But training and structure and boundaries is all a ripple effect. So we're going to be really strict and have a lot of structure with all of these things in life. And not in like a mean way, but just in a, hey, look to me for guidance thing. So then when you're outside, again, if trash is just on the ground, it's not a guaranteed. But your dog's probably going to think twice and look for you. And hopefully you're out there and the dog's going to be like, hey, can I eat this trash? And you're going to be like, nah. And they're going to be like, okay. And like go about their day.
Right.
Would be the hope.
So I did have a question for you. Like I kind of thought through it, and then since I thought through it, I was like, that's probably your answer too. So this dog that gets in the trash, let's say that we're out there with it. So it's not, we're going to start going outside with it to monitor it to see if it gets in the trash, right?
Right.
Would you make the trash can super hot to start? Or would you say like, no, correct a little lower? And by lower, I mean like, let's say a 30 or 40.
Right.
Would you say like no and correct a little bit lower? Or are you right off the bat going to say no and correct really high?
So, and that's the thing. It's going to kind of depend because I was thinking about that kind of as well when you were talking about it. So if it's a dog digging in the trash can, and we'll just ignore this specific scenario for a second, if they're digging in the actual trash can, or if they're getting in the litter box or the cat food, if it's one item that's there stationary, like all the time, I probably would correct fairly high. But like you said, like a 30 or 40 for me is usually pretty high, depending on the dog. I guess I haven't had a lot. I guess I haven't had like a lot of really headstrong dogs. So depending on the dog, I'd probably start there because if that 30 or 40 is going to nip it in the bud, then I want to do that. But at the same time, I'm not with these dogs all the time. So when am I going to have another opportunity to correct this? So that might be a correction that is valuable to you while I'm standing right there. But when it's your mom standing right there, is it going to be as valuable? So I'd probably be like, this would be my high correction. Like if it's something like that, right? This would be my high correction. This would be like my, I'm giving you a chance correction. And I'd probably try to find something in the middle. Because again, if the dog is not going to touch the trash can again, when I'm there or when I'm like at the house, like they're going to know if I'm inside, then I've missed out then on making that really clear to you.
Right.
But for this specific situation, it's sounding like trash is just left out. I don't know if it's like sitting on tables outside or on the ground.
On the picnic tables outside?
Yeah, probably. So for something like that, I probably wouldn't make that really hot because I don't want the dog to think this picnic table is hot. I don't want the dog to think this part of the ground is hot because the trash is going to move. I mean, I would talk about not leaving trash on the ground, but we can't control people. I would like want to guilt them and be like, hey, your trash is going to kill my dog. But again, can't control people. So for something like that, I mean, I would still probably say no and correct, but it wouldn't be as hot. Like I've corrected Gaia for trying to eat stuff off the ground in the kitchen, because she's allergic to everything. And of course, crumbs fall. It happens. But I'm like, you're allergic and you're gonna like die if you eat a piece of chicken or something one day. I don't know. So I'm like, you just don't eat things off the ground. But that wasn't like an act of God correction because I want you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's tough. But I know something like litter box though. I guess. Okay, and now I'm like talking in circles.
Oh no, because I'm like, okay.
Because there's so many different scenarios. If it's something that you're going to do sneakily and occasionally, and I'm not going to be able to catch it often, then I probably would lean to the higher side, right?
Right.
Because when will I have that chance again? Making me think too hard.
I know. Dog training when you're dealing with the dog should be black and white. But when you like hypothesize it, it's not black and white. Like
right, because it's like, well, what about this? What about that? What about that? Tricky.
Okay, I'll give you an easier one.
Okay, is it how long to do something?
No.
I'm really bad at those.
My 5-month-old GSD bites my hands while I'm trying to put her leash and collar on. Is there a way to stop this?
Oh, my favorite. Okay, so 5-month-old is pushing it. Now, I would still do it this way, so I'll just tell you how I would do it, and then I'll tell you how I would recommend maybe an owner to do it. I'm going to stick my fingers in that dog's mouth, and it's not going to be a little boop like I would for a puppy. You're going to put your mouth on me while I'm putting on your collar, and your mouth is going to suck when it hits my hand. I'm going to say no. I'm going to shove my hand down your mouth. I'm going to pinch your bottom jaw. Not going to be fun. Don't put your mouth on me. Pretty much my go-to for most dogs that are under like, I don't know, 9 months to a year. I don't know. I'm going to use my hand as the correction because it's already going to be in your mouth. So the act of my hand in your mouth is about to suck. Not a lot of owners want to like shove their hands in their like German Shepherd's mouth. Strange. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't really have teeth or anything. So you can say no and correct. How? Any way that's going to be easy for you and realistic for you to do consistently and valuable to the dog. So no and hit them with a bonker. No and spray compressed air. No and if the leash is already on, a leash pop. Yeah, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, everything. The only one I added was a finger poke to the side. So this was actually
always forget those.
This was actually Kira, the German Shepherd that I see one-on-ones on usually Fridays. She would notoriously do that with everybody in the house. So mom, dad, brother, and brother's an adult male in college, I believe. And so the cool thing was it was day one, and I was working her through the things, and then they had mentioned, hey, she does that, and I'm like, great. So I took her leash off, and then I went to put her leash on because I'm like, let's see if she'll do it to me. I probably took her leash off and put her leash back on 5 times. Guess what? She didn't do that to me at all.
She said, this lady seems serious.
Yeah, everyone's always like, oh my God, like she always does it, but she's not doing it to you. That's because I came in and I became relevant right away. So she had been chewing on her leash earlier, and I compressed aired her. Now she freaked out. I really hated that. And then I've been working her. So like up to this point, I'm pretty black and white and I'm pretty structured, and you take me seriously. So she wouldn't do it for me. But I did tell the owners, like, hey, if she does do it, the leash isn't on because they're trying to put it on. She freaked out with the compressed air, so I was like, I said either bonker or finger poke to the side. And I'm like, usually people don't do a finger poke hard enough. And if you don't do it hard enough, she's going to think it's a game or whatever, and she's going to bite your hand now. So if you finger poke her softly, she'll turn around and be like, ow, and bite your hand. And so the next time I went, she said, Susan, she doesn't bite me anymore when I'm putting the leash on. She's like, the first time I did the finger poke, she didn't take me seriously. She's like, the next time I did it, she did a finger poke first because she was doing laundry, and Kira came over and took laundry out of the basket. Like a toddler. She took laundry out of the basket with her hand, and her mom was like, no, and like finger poked her to the side, like quite hard. And she's like, she cried, and I'm like, good. I'm
It's
like,
my laundry.
Yeah, I'm like, usually it's from startlement, not like true discomfort.
Like,
It's just a shock to the system, right? And it's like, oh God, mom's serious. And then she might have done that, I don't know how many times for her, like mouthing her for the collar thing, but she doesn't do that anymore. Now she still does that to brother. And so I asked brother, I was like, how firm or finger poke are you doing? Or are you doing that at all? Are you correcting? And he's like, no, not really. I'm like, okay. So the dog knows, like, the dog will actually like be able to sense who's more strict and who's consistent and
right.
means it and who's not.
So we have a question. That's bringing up some other questions, but I'll address that later. Emily says, do you think dogs can sense if their owner is pregnant? So Susan, I will let you give your thoughts first, then I will.
Okay. So yeah, I think they definitely can. Some dogs, like you've heard the stories where the owner's pregnant and the dog will come over and lay their head on their stomach and that kind of thing. Like dogs are definitely more sensitive to energy shifts, hormonal shifts. So I definitely think, I don't know if they put two and two together and they're like, hey, my owner's pregnant, or if they just know something's changed, and they give that person more attention. But I think some dogs can for sure. But like I said, I don't know that they put two and two together as to what's changed. They just know something has.
No, I think what you said is right because sorry, it's giving me some voiceover and it's yelling in my ear. There we go, it stopped. But no, I definitely think they're sensing something is different, whether like maybe you smell different or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I don't think they know like I'm getting a little baby brother, little sister soon, because usually then you come home with the baby and they're like,
what the hell?
Didn't ask for this. But it is funny because there was a dog, Rottweiler, in the kennel I used to work at. He was very aggressive to people. His dad thought that was cool, so that was fun. And only about, I don't know, 3 people in the training facility could handle this dog. 4, I think, if you count the owner. I was one of them, so he was fun. And with this dog, when the owner was pregnant, the dog became aggressive to her. And she couldn't handle him throughout her whole pregnancy because I guess she, I don't know, smelled different. And he was like, I don't like you anymore. So it was interesting. And then later, another handler there, somebody else who could handle that dog, got pregnant. And I don't know if they really ever tested that theory to see how he would react to her. But it was definitely a thought. She was like, I'm pregnant now, so I'm not going to handle this specific dog anymore because he's got a history of not liking it when the few people he likes are pregnant. Yeah, he's a special dog. But yeah, he definitely can sense it.
Right.
I think. That was a fun question. One I hope to never know from experience.
I was just thinking, I was like, guess
Right.
we'll find out. Not. Okay.
But that being said, the trainer there, the one who like was one of the ones who would handle that dog. I mean, she was pregnant and trained like, I don't know, probably up until like the day she had the baby, I think. She trained for like a while and I don't remember hearing any of her training dogs acting weird. But that one dog definitely wasn't loving it.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, fun.
All right, Rachel.
All right, Susan.
Why does my dog bark at the neighbor's dog through my glass door, but if they are in my fenced-in yard together, he doesn't bark at him?
Woohoo! All right, this is a barrier issue. I don't know what it's called. I just say barrier issue. Is my guess. So dogs are silly gooses, the silliest of all the gooses, and something about I don't know the science behind it. I don't know their mentality, but something about there being a barrier, whether it be that they're protecting their property or whether it just be that they're special. That barrier is like, oh, I'm big and tough now. Bark at you and blah, blah. But then when you like come over here, like, oh, hey friend, how's it going? So it's kind of similar, I think, to like leash reactivity, right? So that leash is holding you back.
Does it help if I tell you that the same dog is leash reactive as well?
Yeah, so that's probably like similar, when I can't get to you, I'm all big and bad and I'm gonna like do some damage to you. And then when you get over here, it's just like, it's like people are like bullies on social media.
Yes.
And then in real life, you ain't gonna do nothing. Come at me. I'm doing nothing. Okay. That's what that is. So have you seen that video that's on Facebook? It's like an automatic gate that like slides open. Okay, and there's dogs on each side of the gate. Okay, I'm gonna tell you because it's really funny. It's so stupid. There's dogs on each side of this gate, barking, growling, acting like complete fools to each other. Okay, the gate is sliding open, right? So it's closed now, sliding open. The dogs are following the gate so they can keep barking at each other, right?
Yeah.
Once the gate is all the way open and there's no barrier, the dogs just kind of look at each other and walk off. Now, don't do this with your dogs. Don't test this theory at home because your dogs might kill each other. But it was funny because it's that barrier. So, what is it? Is it the territory thing? Is it? I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why. Why? I don't know.
Right.
I think the question was why. I don't know why.
Yeah, it was why. So
Because they can.
this was one of the consults that I had yesterday. This dog may be signing up for a board and train with me, which I would be excited to have him. But that's his issue is he will, so they have a glass door and they like to be able to, like have they have like the double door system. So they like to be able to have the door open so that you could, whatever, see the outside world, whatever. If he sees a person or a dog, he will bark ridiculously, more so for dogs. She can tell the difference if it's a dog or a person. And on a leash, he is barking, and not really lunging, but just like barking and acting like a nut at another dog. Now, he's been to the dog park and not been in a fight, and he's been around dogs off leash and doesn't really do anything. If anything, I think he's a nervous guy, like from what she's described at the dog park and like that kind of thing. So yeah, it's just that whole barrier thing. Like yeah. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Hopefully he gets to sign up with me and I can see this guy and get him around my dogs.
Right. So Susan, because we only have like 8 more minutes. Okay, so we know what we would do to fix that. We know what we do. We add training, we add structure, we add boundaries. But like, do you have any thoughts as to like why? Like why? Like just because like I can, just like online bullying, like I can, but then like when I'm confronted, like for realsies, I'm not gonna do anything.
Yeah, I think it's a reaction to something that makes him nervous. So he's an insecure guy, and so it's like the fight or flight response, and he's going to fight if there's a barrier. So it's like, get the hell out of here. I'm really freaking nervous. Kind of a reaction is my thought. And then when he's actually presented with the thing, he's overcome with so much anxiety, it's the flight response.
Makes sense.
Because that other thing can now get to him. So he's like, I don't want to start anything because you could attack me. Whereas if we're both restricted from each other, I can fight. That would be my guess.
Makes sense.
Because I'm like, dogs aren't just assholes, or they don't.
No, I'm just kidding.
They can be, they can be kind of rude, but dog's not going to be like, I don't know. It's something that you said that you're like, does he do it because he can or something? And I was like, no, that doesn't ring true to me. Like a dog would just do it. I would think there's some kind of thing going on in his brain, like he's nervous, so he's like fighting, like the fight or flight. He's fighting, and now that this trigger is around him, he's like flighting.
Just kidding. No, that makes really like perfect sense how you explain that, because I'm like, do it like, I meant like not do it because he can, because like I'm bored. But obviously I don't always explain things as well as you do. But like he's doing it because like these are my options. I can fight or I can flight. And right now, feeling pretty safe to fight because there's this glass door here, or I'm on a leash, you're on a leash. So I think that's what I meant in the sense of like I can't now. But then when you're in the situation where it's like, I'm not actually gonna fight you because I'm not trying to like do that right now, then he can't, because he's not gonna like make that choice, most likely. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, like, so, if you have anxiety about something, like if I have anxiety about something, I've programmed myself to think about it constantly.
What's that like?
on a loop. So like this dog, he has anxiety. He's programmed himself or patterned himself to bark at that trigger. And it's like we just have to get him to be patterned to respond a different way.
Right.
So, hey, here's this thing. When you see this thing, go lay down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. And then if you pattern that, he'll see a dog and be like, and
Gotta
go
go.
lay down. Yep.
Right. Love that.
I've got a jetty.
All right. So on that super fun note, I think it's time to wrap things up if you're good with that.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody for watching. It has been another wonderful Q&A Tuesday. Favorite day of the week. If you like watching our Q&As, if you think Susan and I are hilarious like we think we are, tell a friend, like, share, do all that good stuff that like you're supposed to say when you're on social media. And yeah, we're doing this every Tuesday at 6. We're on Facebook and YouTube with Pack Leader Dog Training and Pack Leader Dog and Rachel Kohler Dog Training. But yeah, we love this, and we're fine to just sit here and talk, but we love it when people ask questions, so don't be shy. Ask your questions. That's what we're here for. And yeah, I think that's all I got. You got anything, Susan?
No, just thanks for watching. We really do enjoy this. And then, like Rachel said, just please ask your questions, whether it be like, hey, what'd you guys have for dinner? I'd be like, I didn't eat dinner yet.
I know, I want some dinner. Got home from work.
Aw. Hey, Joan.
Thank you, Joan.
Good night, guys.
Yeah. Good night. We'll see y'all next week.